here's the hard part about YouTube. Even if you're an established business owner and you have a whole lot of credibility, that doesn't automatically mean that YouTube is going to work for you. Today, I'm going to be looking at an 8-figure business owner and go over 3 fixes that could dramatically increase the number of views, leads, and sales that he's getting from his YouTube channel. So what I do on this channel is I do a deep dive of business owner YouTube channels and just share some of the lessons that I've learned working with some pretty successful people and obsessing over this for 8 to 12 hours a day. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the main things that could be stopping him from getting views and leads from his business and some pretty easy tweaks that can get him a lot more sales from his channel. All right, let's jump in. All right, so today we're going to look at this guy, Eric Horwitz, and he is an 8-figure founder, and we're going to be looking at his channel, looking at the business, the funnel, and seeing how he can get some more sales from his YouTube channel. So looking at his videos, one of the things I always like to start with is figuring out exactly who his target audience is and how he helps them. So if we go to his website here, it'll give us a little bit more information. So it said, I scaled my service company from $1.3 million to $10.2 million in 19 months, and it only takes half a day a week to manage, which is pretty impressive. Now I help $1 million to $5 million service founders scale quickly without working on an insane amount of hours. So here's his target audience, helping $1 million to $5 million service founders. And what he helps them do is to scale quickly without working insane amounts of hours. Now, let's look at his YouTube channel and see, based on his topics, is this something that is very clear to his target audience? So going down here, 8 tips to use role play to improve your sales team's performance, 16 tips to become an effective sales manager, how I reset an 8-figure entrepreneur, living well in Los Angeles, family trip to Mexico as an 8-figure entrepreneur. So as you're probably telling here, if that is our target audience and that is how we help them, the YouTube channel isn't doing an amazing job of reflecting that, where we've got a mix of him just sharing his personal experience and lifestyle, which I don't think is necessarily bad in other social medias, but especially if someone is trying to scale their company where they are part of Eric's target audience, I don't think these videos necessarily are going to give them a whole lot of value. And then also, how I like to think about my YouTube channel is just like my business is helping them get from where they are to where they want to go. The content strategy I like is doing the same thing. Thinking about where are they right now, where do they want to go, and then what are all the different problems and obstacles that they're going to run into along the way, and how can I use my videos to help them overcome them to get to the desired outcome. So here, it seems like we're talking to sales managers, again, sales managers here. So one of the biggest things that I think will help this channel feel more cohesive is really just thinking about the topics of the videos that we're making so that they appeal to our target audience. Now, I spent some time looking at his YouTube channel, looking at his LinkedIn and his website, and I came up with a bunch of different titles that I think would be very appealing and really leans into his credibility for YouTube. So if I bring this over here, here's some that I came up with. How I run an 8-figure business in 8 hours per month, my systems. This is boring, but it scaled my business from 7 to 8 figures. How I run a $25 million business in 2 hours per week. Give me 18 minutes, I'll show you how to make $10 million. And then you can see there's a bunch of different ones here where we can talk about desired outcomes of going from 7 to 8 figures. We can talk about working less and talking about 2 hours per week. Again, scaling to 8 figures. Also, there's another guy on YouTube that he's kind of made his thing scaling to $1 million a month. So this guy's name is Jeremy Haynes, if I could spell his name right, Jeremy Haynes. And what you'll see on his YouTube channel in comparison is every single video in the title, the thumbnail, and the intro, he's always talking about how do we build a business that is doing $1 million a month. So as you scroll through Jeremy's YouTube channel, it feels very cohesive. So if you are someone who is, say, doing high 6 figures a month or even low 6 figures a month, and you want to hit that $1 million a month, you see that Jeremy is like the guy for that. Now, the cool part is Eric is kind of doing the same thing without being super obvious about it, because he's talking about people that are doing, $1 to $5 million a year. So that could be 6 figures that they're doing per month. And they want to scale to 8 figures, which is real close to that $1 million a month range. So inside some of these, I actually included that. The 3 systems that help me hit $1 million a month, how to run a $1 million a month leadership team, full breakdown. And then just his big picture, I think this could actually kind of function as a VSL, is how I went from $1.3 million to $10.2 million in 19 months, full system. And inside that video, he can give kind of the high level overview of how he did it. But looking at these titles compared to the ones that we had on here, it would be very obvious who this channel is for, what problem you're solving, and why they should listen to you. Now, I was scrolling back and I saw that there was a time where Eric was doing this a little bit closer, but I think there was a key reason why it didn't really work. Like this, for instance, their operations department structure that scales you from $1 million to $10 million, where we have the desired outcome of going from $1 million to $10 million. But as you see here, it got 26 views after 5 months. So the question is, Eric's very credible, so why is this video getting such low views on that? Now, this might seem weird, but I think the main reason this video didn't perform well is because I don't think people believe you. What do I mean? So one of the main things people are looking at when they see your channel and see specifically one of your videos is the thumbnail. Now, at a glance, I would say with this specific thumbnail, the framing's kind of weird. Also, the text on it, the white text with the black stroke, it feels very basic and honestly kind of cheap. And because of that, when I see this thumbnail, it doesn't scream 8-figure business owner by any means. And to the fact where I would see this and he would talk about scaling from $1 million, $10 million. And I'm like, I don't really believe this guy just by looking at the packaging. Because I think basically it works a little bit something like this. So say you have a Louis Vuitton store. When you walk in, one of the reasons why they can justify their very high prices is because it feels very premium. When you look at a lot of the inside of these stores, it's very intentional, it's very premium. So when you walk in, you're like, oh, this is an expensive place. Compared to when you are looking for clothing and maybe you walk inside a Walmart, it's going to feel very, very different. And unfortunately, when people are looking at this, I feel like it feels closer to a Walmart than a Louis Vuitton. So just because of that, there's kind of this cognitive dissonance between, okay, this guy's claiming that he can go from $1 million to $10 million, but even from the thumbnail, it doesn't feel very credible, so people don't actually click on it. But I don't think this video is too far gone. I think if we change the packaging, it can be so much more clickable, and then he's going to get a lot more views from it. So here's the before, and I wanted to rework both the title and thumbnail. So the title I reworked, and then the thumbnail actually made in ChatGPT, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. But so here is the original, and then let me show you my reworked version. All right, so here's the before and after. So on the left-hand side, we have the thumbnail that doesn't look super attractive. We have the title as the operations department structure that scales you from $1 million to $10 million. And then on the right-hand side, we have this thumbnail, looks a whole lot cleaner. It shows, okay, here's some of the different things that he's talking about in the video. It says, just copy me. He looks a lot more professional. And the title is, this is boring, but it'll scale your business to $10 million while working less. So we still have the desired outcome of making $10 million, but we are also throwing in there while working less, because for his perfect target audience, that's exactly what they want. So going from this over to the after, I think is going to be so much more clickable. And from an authority perspective, people actually start to believe that the information aside is what you're talking about in the title and thumbnail. I think from a packaging perspective, if we can continue to focus on the topics that are talking about the desired outcomes of your target audience and just talking about the problems that they're going to be facing, that's going to help from a cohesion. But then from an authority and clickability standpoint, we just need to make it look like you actually know what you're talking about by changing the thumbnails. Also, let me show you real quick in ChatGPT how I did this because it's super cool. So basically, I just took a picture of Eric from a screenshot, and then I gave it a nice looking thumbnail, and I said, basically, I want to use this style, and also here's the transcript from Eric's video to populate the things in the back from it, put Eric in there, remove the mic, and this is what it gave me. So without basically any design skills, in about 5 minutes, we got a pretty nice looking thumbnail. And I've got a full video doing a deep dive on how to do that. Okay, so from a content strategy, I think that would make a big difference. But then the other thing is once people do start watching your videos, how do we actually get them in your ecosystem and then ultimately have them become leads or sales for your business? So let's look at Eric's most recent video and see if there's even a path where people can do that. So if we go down here, we've got, here are some great tips to use in sales to role play to help your team close more deals. And then he's got a written post on LinkedIn. But if you scroll down here, there's no specific way that even like a link to his website or specifically how to work with him. So doing that, it's going to be very hard for people to work with him just because they don't know what to do. Now, he does have the link to his website here on the channel page, but more than likely people aren't going to watch the video, go to your channel page and then click that. So that's why I always recommend taking the call to action of your video, whether it be a lead magnet or just them working with you, putting that as the very first line of your description and putting it as your pinned comment. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to actually take that action. Now, looking at his website, I think there is something very similar to the packaging that we could help. So one, we've got the VSL here. We've got a headline that does a good job of showing us credibility. We're talking about our target audience. We're talking about the desired outcome they want and kind of the effort required, which is without working an insane amount of hours. So I think from a copy perspective, it's pretty good. But I think we're also suffering from kind of the Walmart syndrome here, where it doesn't really look like this is the landing page from a guy that is running a $25 million business. And when people click on this, they are instantly judging you and saying, okay, do I think this guy can actually help me scale from $1 million to $10 million just based on what it looks like? So not only did I rework his titles and thumbnails, but I remade pretty quickly a landing page that I think would, again, up his authority, up his credibility, so that when people do click on it, people actually trust that he can solve their problems. So we go from this, which again, the white text with the black stroke just makes it look very, very cheap. So I would definitely recommend avoiding that. But even just the overall layout and the style of it, I think we can really improve. So here's the before, and then the after is kind of what I came up with here. We still have a nice looking headline here of I help 7-figure business owners scale to 8 figures while working less by giving you the exact system that took my business from $1.2 million to $10.2 million in 19 months and now only takes 8 hours a month to manage. So looking at here, if you come to this landing page, and maybe we've got some client testimonials here of, hey, I've helped my clients generate $25 million. This automatically feels so much more premium and makes me want to pay this guy a lot more compared to if I come to a landing page of this. It's like, I don't know if this guy can actually help me scale my business. Also, if you're watching this, Eric, I hope this is not too harsh, but I think it can make a huge difference, even with some small tweaks here. Big picture, I think those are the main tweaks that can make a huge difference in the amount of views that he's getting and the leads and sales that he's getting for his business. So on the content side, how can we make sure that every video is targeting our target audience, talking to their problems and their desires? And then for our thumbnails themselves, how can we make it look like we have our stuff together and then make it as easy as possible for people to go from the video to actually taking the desired action, whether it be a lead magnet or actually buying our service. And then on our landing page, how can we design it and intentionally lay it out so it looks very premium so people want to work with us? All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found something helpful in here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're a business owner that wants me to audit your own YouTube channel, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll be happy to do that. All right, I'll see you next time.